Good morning. The morning break. I am Rob Patz. It is Wednesday. As Miles Holiday says, I have the easiest job in the world. I only work Monday through Wednesday. Thank you very much. Thank you to Miles for bringing that up. And I appreciate Miles. We're going to have him back on because it's fun to be talking to somebody who is so much knowledge in so many areas. If he's watching, but no, appreciate Miles, and he is always so much fun. Hey, listen, I got some great coffee, folks, at 7 Weeks Coffee. They have amazing coffee. My wife got me into this, and really, she was the advocate for us getting the 7 Weeks Coffee to start with, and it has been an amazing time over the last 9 months. We've had my coffee. We've had the coffee from 7 Weeks Coffee, and it's been my coffee because my wife doesn't drink it. That was what I was going to say. But it was incredible. Now, she was super smart, and it was her idea to basically, go for a variety pack. And I got to be honest with you, when she did it, I went, I don't know. I like what I like. I like dark roast coffee. That's kind of my thing. And she goes, no, Rob, trust me, which you should always trust your wife. She goes, get the variety pack. And I said, I can do that. And so we did. And they're all amazing. Now, personally, I'm a dark roast guy, and I've told you that over time. But here's the special thing. If you've never experienced small batch private roasted coffee before, you need to. It is incredible. The great folks, 7 Weeks Coffee. Use the promo code ATV10 when you order. We appreciate it so very much. By the way, so much to talk about today. We're going to do a special edition of the show, kind of talk about stuff about the holidays, because the next couple of weeks, we're actually really jammed with guests. So I want to talk a little bit about the holidays. If you have not, by the way, checked out Krista, my podcast on our app, you need to. Of course, you're probably watching the show on the app right now. But when I'm done, don't tune away now, because I like the viewers that are there. So, but check out our podcast this week. I talk about Christmas very much, actually. Talk about some things that went on as my mom and dad and aunt and uncle and my cousin Steph went out to get a Christmas tree. It was an experience. Tune into the podcast to find out. That is what this week's podcast is called, Time Travel, which is also very cool. And it's so much fun. I, of course, add the stories. Kristen actually adds the meat to the podcast. So check it out on the app. By the way, something that I found very interesting for today, December 10th, Dewey Decimal System was invented. Today, 1851, the Dewey Decimal System was invented. And kind of interesting, it wasn't adapted in the United States until 1876. So invented on this day, December 10th, 1851. Took a while till 1876 for it to be adopted and became a standard. Did you remember? And I was thinking of this when I saw this come up today. Do you remember learning the Dewey Decimal System in school? I don't remember what year. I was trying to think of what year it was. Was like third grade, second grade, somewhere around there. You had to go to the library. I think it was third grade. You went to the library and learned about the Dewey Decimal System. Man, does that make me sound old? Though thankfully, and I looked this up, that's why I'm saying that. They actually taught the Dewey Decimal System in school across the country until 2005. After that, of course, everybody had computers and tells you exactly where it is. Though I am not a super big library person, my wife is, and there's a cute video from a couple years ago at Christmas time where you see Kristen's eyes light up as we are at the library here in our town, and she's talking about how when she was little, she used to get to go to the library, pick up her favorite books on a Saturday while her mom was out grocery shopping. So that's it. Hey, go out and celebrate Dewey Decimal Day. Some cool things that came out. I had a note on the app, and then this is how I know actually people are watching. And thank you so much. You can hit us up on the app at any time. And the neat thing that I saw on this was the debate I talked about a couple days ago about live Christmas tree versus fake Christmas tree. And that's something like if you're watching either on the app or on social media, shoot me a note and say which way you go. I am personally, I like the artificial trees or the fake trees. When I was little, that's what we called them. We used to call them fake trees. Um, but I've always loved them. I've always loved the artificial, partially probably because reality is I deal with a lot of allergies, and real trees can be interesting. A lot of allergies during this time of year. Hey, listen, it's time for our my hyphen snackies. In today, we're looking at the Mighty Mac. It's Mackinac. That's Mackinac City, by the way, and that's a look at the Mighty Mac. And they are having with their camera. That was interesting, wasn't it? Wow. Anyway, the Mighty Mac, and that is the my-snackies.com look in cam. You gotta love that. Those kinds of things are super fun. And by the way, if you haven't had some of the My Snacky stuff, really today is your last day. Go check it out. Go order some my-snackies.com and the look in Mackinac Island. By the way, and it was actually not completely planned. It was a little, there was a thought of this. My Mackinac City mug has my 7 weeks coffee in it, all kinds of good stuff. Man, so much going on though right now. A couple things I want to talk to you about. And this is a big deal. This is the question. This was actually asked on the app to me last they asked last night, and I'm reading it to you today. Here's the it's kind of it's an interesting thing because in my family it's always been on Christmas Eve, but a lot of people asked, do you open presents on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day? Interesting thing, and there's actually a study out that says, and I found this to be interesting, a majority of people now, over 65%, open their presents on Christmas Eve. I did not know that. So kind of interesting. People open them, and of course, they have stocking gifts on Christmas Day. When we come back, we're going to talk more. We've got some interesting things to talk about today as we talk about Christmas on today's edition of the Morning Break.
Behind every precious life, there was a choice. Behind every family moment, behind every special memory, there was a choice. A life of joy. A life that is beautifully and wonderfully made. At 7 Weeks Coffee, we are funding the pro-life movement, one cup at a time. Will you let your coffee serve a greater purpose?
Hey, great folks, 7 Weeks Coffee, and man, they do a great job. 7weekscoffee.com. Use the promo code ATV10 when you write. And today, by the way, I was going to tell you a couple things that we've got going on. We were supposed to have the great folks from an amazing ministry called Deaf Child Hope, deafchildhope.org. Unfortunately, due to some technical issues, they are supposed to be there, but they're not. The funny thing is, I don't see them on my end, so I wanted to clarify if you're watching, we'll have them on again in the future and have them on the show. They are that's always tough. Hate that when that happens, but yes. So um just unfortunate. And so anyway, I wanted to tell you about some stuff going on um in the world of Christmas. And this was interesting. And we have had um we've been talking about this now for a little over a month now. Um and I think it's really kind of just some neat things that are going on as far as gift things. We've talked about like the trends of gifts, and I wanted to talk about that. The number one trend this year is people are trending to give gourmet food items, and we talked about this a few weeks ago. And goodness, it is made for an interesting time. The number one gift, by the way, for according to Consumer Reports this year, is and I was shocked by this. The number one gift is olive oil. Now I love olive oil. I'm not sure that I want it as a gift. Just saying. I'm really not sure I want olive oil as a gift. And I also understand this because I've seen it a lot this year, is people um saying that they are using these different flavored olive oils. So like you have these infused olive oils. Hmm. I guess I'm just kind of a plain guy. Um and I just, if I'm gonna have olive oil, I just want it to taste like olive oil. If I wanna add spices, I guess, I don't know. Maybe it's easier to cook with. I'm not a cook. You'd have to ask Kristen about that. But number one thing, is olive oil. And actually number 1 and number 2 are related to olive oil. They're the foodie gifts of the year. And number 3 is charcuterie boards. And it's a hard time saying the word charcuterie, I guess, for me. And it is very interesting to see this. And again, this is kind of interesting to me that these items are like your top 3. And I'm like, how does that happen? But anyway, those are the top 3 things, and how that has changed. And of course, we talked a little bit about Google had their thing out, and the number one gift for men this year was the for barbecuing, the thermometer for barbecuing. And that was their number one gift for men, and the number one gift for women was the charcuterie board. So I don't know. It's just interesting to see. We've come to time in society where I guess it's neat in a way, to think about it, that we're of course being very good with our health and the whole olive oil thing, because olive oil is fantastic for you. But I don't know, just kind of interesting stuff that you're seeing and that's going on. And so like I said, again, wanted to reiterate, and it's due to technical difficulties. We were supposed to have the great folks from Deaf Children Hope. It's Deaf Children, deafchildhope.org. Check them out, and we will reschedule them and have them on a future show. Unfortunately, that is sometimes what happens with technology. They say they're here, but they're not that I can see. One more live look in Mackinac City, Mackinac, the Mighty Mac Bridge. By the way, if you get a chance to go to Mackinac Island, my wife and I talk about this all the time. Mackinac Island is one of our favorite places in the United States to go. We try to go at least once a year. Doesn't always happen, but we try to go once a year. Mackinac City, which is where we stayed the night before, we travel over to Mackinac Island, and that is, of course, the Mighty Mac Bridge. It looks cold today because it is. It is very cold up there right now. And they're dealing with winds. I will tell you this, that is a long bridge. I do not capitalize, do not want to travel across that in the winter. Questionable in the summer, but definitely not in the winter. And so, yeah, very cool. The my-snackies.com look in, Cam. So glad that they're a part of it. And again, as I told you, you need to order your stuff. And we're talking about a lot about stuff that you can get if you're. And I hate to say this, but you're kind of on the time frame now. It is the 10th, and if you like 65% of the people in the United States, order your gifts and open your gifts. You order your gifts online and you open your gifts on the 24th. You are going to need to order like now. Like a lot of places are putting drop dead. My-snackies.com, one of those places. And it's great to support a Christian organization like My Snackies, and just their cool stuff. They are just good people, and we appreciate them being a part of the morning break. Another thing that I think is interesting, again, we've kind of gone back on and forth on this, as stuff that is Christmas stuff for this year. I love coffee, and we've talked about this. The KitchenAid cold brew coffee maker is number 4 on the list of stuff. This is the Consumer Reports list that we're going over, and I love cold brew, and I have totally. I'm like, that's like, it's like my thing. I ordered out, especially during the summer, and so that's number 4. And I think it's kind of neat. Dutch ovens are making a comeback. Dutch ovens are number 5. And again, this is kind of interesting. Have you noticed how everything is kind of in the food related stuff? And here's one that I find very interesting. And if you've watched anything online lately, you've seen these. They're the Ember mugs. Have you seen these? Where they keep your coffee warm. You set it on the side, and they have an app on your phone, so you can like keep your coffee at a certain temperature. My only worry about this, and if you're a true coffee drinker, you're gonna know where I'm going with this. Coffee is good for a certain period of time, and then once you get, even if it's warm, after a few hours, it's gonna break down, and you're gonna want to throw it away. So I think it's a neat idea. Um, I'm not sure though. I'm really not sure that I would want that. And now that I think about it, at first I was like, when I was reading this list over and we are getting ready for doing today's show, I was like, yeah, that'd be cool. And then I started thinking, yeah, but do I really want coffee that sits in a warmer all day? No, not really. It's not me, but for a lot of people it is. And interestingly enough, to close out this segment, and something that I find it's important. Chris and I talk about this kind of stuff all the time. Is the next on the list is luggage, and good luggage. Now, this is interesting. They listed off several, and we don't get paid by any of them. But I will give you one of the 3 that's on the list is Travel Pro. I have been a Travel Pro person, and we've talked about Travel Pro on our social media. We both, Kristen and I, are big Travel Pro people. And they are saying that is kind of the gift this year, is to get somebody a high end piece of luggage. And yes, and I get it. For a lot of people, they say, Rob, I don't know if I can justify that kind of money. And I get it. It's a lot of money, and it's not cheap to do a good piece. But I will tell you this, and this is a point that I'm going to make. I got my first piece of Travel Pro, and I travel a lot. I got my first piece of Travel Pro luggage in 2014. And when I say travel a lot, for a lot of my career, 100 plus days a year. And it was, it's Kristen kind of said, it's looking a little sad. And it's looking a little on the weak side. In fact, the Travel Pro emblem fell off the front about 2, 3, 4 years ago. 4 years ago, it fell off the front. So I look like I'm And it is not, it's been dropped from shuttle buses. It does not look the best, but the integrity of the luggage and the way it still it stands the test of time is amazing. Tough stuff. So luggage was the next one. When we come back, we have got one more segment for today. We'll do that after this.
Social media today is noisy, divided, and too often hostile to Christian values, a place where truth is twisted and faith is often silenced. What if there was a place for believers where you could share your story, grow in your faith, and be encouraged every day? Introducing Acts Social, the #1 Christ-centered social platform built to unite Christians worldwide in truth, hope, and love. Share your faith openly. Discover powerful, uplifting content. Join prayer groups. Encourage others. Find news and events from a biblical worldview all in one place. And do it all free from big tech censorship, invasive tracking, and endless ads. Because the body of Christ was never meant to be scattered. It was meant to be together, every day, everywhere. ActsSocial.com, the fastest growing platform for Christ-centered connection. Join us and be part of something eternal.
Acts Social, ACTSsocial.com. Hey, listen, we've got the fastest growing group on there. Did you know that? Yes. Go to the Abundant group when you sign up for Acts Social. Follow me, follow Christian, follow Jason. Jody's on there. Molly's on there. Just everybody that you see regularly here on the Abundant TV network. We're all there. And that's what makes it so much fun. And we appreciate Acts Social. In fact, Chris and I believe in it so much that we became a corporate sponsor. And so we believe in it along with the great folks at Chick-fil-A, Hobby Lobby, and a couple other organizations. We stand with Acts Social, ACTSsocial.com. And man, it has been just a fun day today. We've talked a little bit about the Dewey Decimal System. We've talked about what you should get for Christmas. And I know you're wondering what the other luggage, and they're more expensive. If you're going to get any of the three, get the Travel Pro. The other two are like double the Travel Pro price. Are they worth it? Yes. Has my wife told me that I can't get there is a brand of luggage I would like to get. They actually sell it at Costco. My wife has told me I can't until she's ready so that we can both have the same kind. And of course, I'm kidding. Sort of. Maybe. She said it smiling, but I've learned, and here's the thing. I've learned after being married 4 years. By the way, something kind of cool. I've learned after 4 years, sometimes it's serious, sometimes it's not. By the way, tomorrow we celebrate 5 years since we got engaged. On a cool but not as cold as it is right now, December day here in Ohio. My wife and I got engaged. For those of you that don't know the story, you know what? There needs to be a time where we have Kristen on the morning break. I think she'd be fun. I think she would roll her eyes a lot because this is a goofy show and can kind of go off the rails at times. But I make her laugh, and I think that was one of the things I remember. And people, if you don't know our story, it's very cool. Neither of us had ever been married. This was our first marriage for both Kristen and I. And 5 years ago, I asked her to marry me. And somebody asked me right before I asked her to marry me why I was asking her to marry me. And I said, because she laughs at my jokes, even if they're not funny. And you need somebody in your life that laughs at your jokes, even when they're not funny, which, I mean, honestly, we all know that like half my jokes are really not that funny, but Kristen laughs at them, and that makes it very special. So tomorrow we celebrate our 5-year anniversary of our engagement. It's crazy to think. And it was, like I said, a lot warmer. We've talked about whether we're going to go to the restaurant that we went to after the engagement, because we had our engagement pictures taken on the same day we got engaged, which I thought was kind of cool. And we've talked about that. We've also talked about the fact that which is super funny. It's about 40 minutes from our house, and we were like, yeah, it may happen, it may not. That's that you've been together a while when that starts to starts to happen. But anyway, wanted to kind of finish up with a couple things. Um, we're not going to talk fantasy football. If you've noticed, I've gone away from that. My team, for the first time in 10 years, didn't make the playoffs. It was a rugged year. It- my team had Patrick Mahomes, and that was the problem. It was seriously the problem. Anyway, the, we'll talk about that. We've got some cool stuff coming up. I want to do this over the next couple of weeks as we head kind of into the end of the year. There's a thing that I wanted to start here on the show. We do this with Molly, but I want to challenge you. Tell me one thing, one goal, and send me either a text message or a and through the app or on social media. Tell me one of your goals for 2026. Is it incredible to say 2026 and to realize that Y2K was 25 years ago? I mean, that, and we're all talking about how things were going to shut down and things were going to just go off the rails, and voila, here we are. We're all still here and in good shape, and and really to think about where we were as far as computers. I couldn't have done this. I mean, there was forms of what program we use, but you had to have a computer system, a server, and everything, and all kinds of programs to include with that, including a link. And now if you have really good internet, you can do stuff like this. One more look in the my snacky look in cam, my-snackies.com. It does not look like it's warming up in Mackinac at all. Does it look cool? By the way, that is not. I had somebody on social media ask if that was a sandy beach. No, ladies and gentlemen, that is snow. That is Upper Michigan, ladies and gentlemen. It's actually very close to the UP, but it's not quite. But that is Mackinac City, and our look in. We were going to do one of the island cams, but a lot of them were offline, and I have a sneaky suspicion, because it is off season, that most of those cams are shut down for the winter. But man, such a great day. Going to be a great week next week. We've got some awesome interviews. Going to be a lot of fun. And again, tell me what's the one goal, and then we can talk about them for next. The one thing I have been seriously praying about for this year, for 2026, is I want to be the best steward with the stuff that God has given me. That is my goal for 2026, because everybody wants to get bigger and bigger. I have really, over the last few weeks, really had this feeling that I want to shepherd the things that God has given me. So that's one of the goals that I have for this coming year. Man, it's been a lot of fun. Go out and celebrate Dewey Decimal System Day. I don't know how you do that, but be creative. Maybe go to the library and look at a card catalog. If your library still has a card catalog, ours does. I know that because I put my camera on top of it a few years ago to shoot some stuff. But go out, live a great day. Hey, it has been fun. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and small woodland creatures, this has been the Morning Break.